Well, Malcolm, the victory over Sheffield, is it a watershed moment for this team?
I think I mean, obviously the points are huge, but as I said to you before, it's a psychological hurdle that we get over, much like with the Belfast win at home. It's a huge thing for us, to beat a top team like that, but to kind of do it where we had a lead, we build a bigger lead, let it slip away, rebuild it again, and not to let it slip through our fingers, because we've had a few of those games, and including down in Cardiff, where we had a 2-0 lead, 53 minutes into the game, and then we give up 4 goals in such a short period of time and go home with nothing. I think it was a huge, uplift to our group to know we could close it out, and we didn't break.
And I felt the lines probably clicked better than maybe at any time of this season. Was that something you thought? And what do you think was behind that last night?
I don't know about the lines clicking better than any other time. I think that we had consistent shifts from our group. Whereas maybe before we'd put out a line, another line would go out and have good momentum, and then the other line would get pinned in our zone for 3 minutes, type of thing. We had good consistent shifts where we were able to sustain momentum. We were able to get momentum back in a game and have it carry over for more than 1 or 2 shifts. So I think that was probably a better assessment of it than saying that our lines were more consistent than in any other game. Because I mean, we've had some great games. Even we've had great games that we've lost. I just think we were better at keeping momentum and snatching momentum back from them last night, and doing it from the top of our lineup to the bottom.
Now, as we touched upon last night when we spoke post game, losing Dyson Stevenson was a big disappointment, of course, and that led you to moving Jordan Buesa up to the second line. What was behind the decision to move him rather than Harry Ferguson at that moment in time? Is that something you can give some insight into?
Well, there was really, no decision. My idea was to utilize both of them, but once we got rolling there, and I put Jordan out, and he had a really good shift, and obviously he deserved to get more. I kept, when I put him out for the second time, they were able to sustain some pressure. So I decided to just kind of stick with the 3 lines, and it's too bad because it was at Harry's expense, but I kind of just wanted to get some continuity and rolling lines, and that's what I was saying about. We were really good at keeping momentum and snatching momentum, and I wanted to keep some continuity within the lines throughout the game instead of shuffling people around. So, a credit to everybody, and Jordan did a great job and jumping out there and fitting in.
How much did he impress you? I thought he played fantastic. He brought a new energy to that line as well. But how much did he impress you on the line?
I mean, he did a good job. He did what we know he's capable of doing, and Jordan, much like anybody when on our team, is we always ask them to play within their skill set and what their core values as a hockey player. And when our guys as a group do it, and Jordan's no different, when they stick to what they're great at, we expect them to have good success. And Jordan did that last night. He chipped pucks, and he was in on the forecheck, and he made good decisions with the puck, protected the puck well, and was good defensively. So that's what we need out of everybody on our team. And sometimes with young players, it can be up and down and up and down. But last night was a completely up game for him, and that's a great thing because he's a great human being. He's a good hockey player, but he's a better person than he is a hockey player, and that's the best compliment I can give him. So I'm very, very happy that he was able to have some good success on the ice and to do it at home too.
So next up, it's the Dundee Stars on Saturday, and they're capable of getting those victories. We saw that last night when they defeated Cardiff. They beat Belfast last week as well, but they tend to struggle against other teams at times as well. Does that air of unpredictability make them a bit difficult to judge going into this game?
No, because every game here, down the stretch is tight and tough. I mean, I look at it as kind of 2 groups. There's the top 3 group; they're all jockeying for first place, And then you got the remaining 7 clubs fighting for 5 playoff spots. So right now, every game is tight. Every game is tough. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night, which we see. At the beginning of the year, probably the first 6 weeks, the scores were so unpredictable. You never want to lay a bet on a game because you never knew who could win. And then it's kind of settled into the top 3. We used to beat the next 7 all the time, but now you're starting to see those 7 teams beating the top teams, and it's not a once in a blue moon thing. So we have to prepare, like it's a 1-game playoff each and every game here down the stretch. That's our mentality.
And of course, Dundee will come to Glasgow thinking they can get the victory. Of course, they can. Why not? Who are the big threats for Dundee, do you feel, when you look back on the previous games and looking ahead?
Charlie Combs, their top scorer, but they have guys. Their lineup from top to bottom, very hardworking. They're a hard team to play against because they just never stop. They're a team that's very relentless, and we've won one, we've lost one down in Dundee. 2 totally different games. We got behind in the first game. We were down there, and they made it really hard for us to catch up. In the second game, we got a big lead, and they just hung around and hung around and hung around. So, for me, it's never key on one certain player. We have to make sure that we're playing everybody as tight as we can, and making sure that we're taking care of what we do as a hockey club.
And finally, a lot of people loved your analogy last night about fighting gorillas when talking about the game last night. Can the guys expect any more like that ahead of the game on Saturday?
When you've been around as long as me, you got all sorts of those analogies. But I just thought it was very suitable for where we were at in the season. If any analogy you can use, if you're in a race, you don't let off the gas when you got a big lead. Because that's when teams can catch up. And a very wise coach used to say to me all the time, don't stand in the railroad tracks or you're going to get run over by a train. So that's us. If we're moving and we're going and we can do it for 60 minutes, we're a real difficult hockey club to play against. It's when we kind of let up for air, get a little happy and a little comfortable, and momentum goes down and energy goes down, we're susceptible to disappointment. So moving forward, we have to treat every game like a playoff where you can't have that opportunity to breathe.